And I'll do the same thing for M4A1 silencer. And if I look at the silencer, it says the preview mesh hierarchy doesn't match skeleton anymore. Would you like to regenerate skeleton? I say yes. And this is just a silencer, and it's got M underscore silencer. And for, I believe for the silencer as well, I'm gonna have the same, or yeah, I don't think so, but I'll just hit D and I'll click. So it's got the same mesh. Now if I go over to my skeletal meshes, click on M4A1 silencer, come back here and click on the little teapot. Okay, I did not select this M4A1, and if I do that, there you go. Now that should work. And then I click on the teapot. Okay, close that, and then I click on this M4A1, and then I click on the teapot now. And if I go F, and I'll just wait for a little while, and there it is, the silencer is there. Alright, that's great, and it's all shiny and nice, and I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna close this because we won't be using this for a while. I just wanted to set up the materials and leave it there. And close them, close this, close the silencer as well, and M4A1 material, and that's all good. Great, right? And we have the materials, and we have the textures, and we have the weapons, the physics asset, the skeletal meshes, everything. Great. Alright, so now that we have all of that, now our next task is obviously going to be bring all of these guys in. Bring this M4A1 and the AK-47, at least the AK-47 first, into the game and into the hands, in the hands of the player, in the hands of the character. So I'll go over to the weapons and I'll create a new blueprint, and that's inside assets, blueprints, and inside weapons, I'm going to create a new blueprint class, and I'll create an actor blueprint, and I'll call this weapon base underscore BP. And the reason I'm not creating an AK-47 or an M4A1 or any of these weapon specific blueprints is because I first want to create a weapon base, and then I'll simply duplicate that for the other weapons. Like next is M4A1, and after that we could be adding some, I don't know, a machine gun, or maybe, I don't know, a UMG, or I don't know, a lot of things that can be added, a rocket launcher. So you can have a weapon base class, and then after that all you have to do is simply either create a child blueprint class, or you can simply duplicate that class, and you just have to change the mesh and the properties a little bit for the firing and all of that. Okay, so I'm going to open this up, and let's set up this weapon base underscore BP. Okay, so now the simplest thing is, the next obvious step is to create or set up a static mesh here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a skeletal mesh, not static mesh, and I'll select the skeletal mesh. Okay, and I'll go and look for the AK-47. It's right there, and there you go, AK-47 is up. And I'll just compile this, and I'll save this, and I think I can close this now. And now that's the weapon base. Now the next thing that needs to be done is to actually figure out where to give this guy, where to have the weapon placed in the game. We want the weapon to be placed inside, in the hands of the player, in the hands of this particular character. So this is the left hand, and he's got the right hand, so we know that he's going to be holding it from through his right hand. So we will go over to the skeleton character, the soldier skeleton, and there you go. So this is a soldier skeleton. Or you can also have clicked the mesh, and you can cycle through all of these different places, all of these different tabs. You have the mesh animation, and these are all the animations that you can browse and show and all that. And then it's the blueprint itself, the animation blueprint, and then the physics asset. Now we know that we want him to hold the gun in his right hand. So we'll look for the right hand. There it is. And we'll right click and we'll say add a socket. There you go, like that. So I'm gonna rename this to weapon underscore attach. Okay, so now with that, I can right click and I can say let's add a preview mesh, because right now we don't know what the gun will look like. Okay, so I'm gonna add a preview mesh or a preview asset. So I right click and add preview asset and click on AK-47. And now when you can see that it's actually pretty big. Not only is that big, but we also don't know what the weapon will look like when he is in the idle position. So for that, you go over to the preview scene settings, and let's give him a default animation for us to help us work with the placement of the weapon itself. So I'll drop this down and I'll look for the idle animation and I'll look for the idle aiming. Okay, and now we can see that the gun is almost way bigger than even the character himself. So now it gives us a chance to set it up right and set it up in his hand right, so that when we play the game, it's going to be right there. Okay, so the first thing is I will rotate this to face the right way. So I'll first rotate it this way. Okay, that is like that. Okay, and then I'll again align it vertically like this. Okay, and so that it's rotated, it's looking at the right way at least, or maybe a little bit tilted. Okay, and now I can probably scale it down easily, and I'll just scale it down like this. And now the next task obviously is to align his fingers with the trigger. Okay, so his fingers out here, it's hard to see his fingers there, his fingers are, and I've used the transformation tools to bring it down and just align it with his hands like that. And maybe I guess move it inside this, and if I can see that, move it up, that's his finger, and like this, maybe down. I think I can increase the size of the socket a little bit. This is 0.9, maybe I can just make this 0.32, 0.32, and not 32, 0.32 and 0.32, right? And maybe I'll just bring him down a little bit. That's the trigger, that's the finger, and okay, and maybe rotate it like that, adjust a bit, and I just want, right now I just want his finger to align, his index finger to align with that. Bring it down and move it back, bring it down and move it back like that. I think that's good enough. Maybe rotate it a little bit like this, so that it doesn't hit his shoulder like that. And yeah, now I can probably move it up a bit, and inwards a little bit, and just a little bit like that. That's good. So now it looks like he's holding the weapon, right? So if I look here, maybe, no, that's a gap here, like this, and down. Oh, that's difficult. Anyways, I think that's good. Maybe bring this down a little bit to the, and left like that. That's good enough, I guess, for now. So I think that's good enough for now. Maybe it's not left pinky. I think there you go. Okay. If I look at it from here, I think it's kind of tilted a little bit. So just first tilt it right. Okay. And now move it in and bit like this, just a bit up, and maybe increase the scale to, let's say, 0.33 or 0.35, 0.35 to 0.35 point, not 0.35. I don't know, is it too big? Remains to be seen. I think it's a little too big, so I think I'll bring it down to 3.3 again, 0.33, that's 0.33. Just bring it down like that, move it back, down. The magazine should be here, and again, take a look here. So that's his finger, and the trigger is out here, down. Okay, I think I'm gonna be good at that for now. We'll change it later on, maybe just slightly rotate it this way. Yeah, so that it doesn't. Yep. And now we can move this down.